So we have just started with congruences. So just now you have seen, अभी आपने मुझे बताया कि जब हम 20 को 3 से divide करते हैं, we get remainder 2. Similarly, if I divide 26 with 3, we get remainder 2. So basically, so I was saying कि जब भी हम अब number 3 में किसी भी number की बात करेंगे, so we are assuming that is an integer, right? So say suppose a is an integer, right? And m is also one integer, where m is not equal to 0, right? So we say a is congruent to b. So this symbol means 3 lines means congruent. So a is congruent to b mod m if and only if a leaves remainder b when divided by m. So since मैं m से divide कर रही थी, so this is the reason I have taken m to be not equal to 0. So here if you see now, so a is congruent to b mod m. So m से हमने a को divide किया. A is congruent to b mod m if and only if a leaves remainder b, right, when divided by m. But is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so very simple definition. So now if I ask you, so this is how we write. So 20 is congruent to which number mod 3? So 20 is congruent to 2 mod 3. 20 को जब आप 3 से divide, so mod 3 means that number with whom you are dividing 20. Similarly, if I ask you 29 is congruent to which number mod 5?
4.
Is it fine, बच्चे? All of you? यहाँ तक clear है? So these 3 lines means congruence. This 3 lines means the relation congruence. So जैसे एक division का relation है, multiplication का relation है, so congruence is an operator. So this operator tells you the remainder. Plus adds the number, minus tells you the difference. So congruent operator tells you the remainder. Now one more observation now. So one more observation now from here. You see, this is very simple, right? Now let me say, we know by division algorithm, अगर मैं किसी number a को m से divide करती हूँ, so I am dividing m. If we divide a with m, I should not write this way. So if we divide a with m, so obviously what will happen? Then we will get some quotient and we will get some remainder. So we will get some quotient and we will get some remainder. These q and r, they belongs to z, and obviously this remainder is either 0, so equal to 0, otherwise the remainder will be less than m. This number se aap divide kar. Right. So now from here, you see what is a minus r? What is a minus r? So a minus r is equal to m cube. So you see a minus r is some multiple of m. A minus r is some multiple of m. So from here, can I say that m divides a minus r? A minus r के दो factors बन रहे हैं, एक m बन रहा है, एक q बन रहा है, m into q. So यहाँ से can I say that m divides a minus r? बेटा yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So m divides a minus r. So now if you see, so this is the another definition of congruence. So this is the another definition of congruence. So you see a was the number जिसको आपने m से divide किया था, and r was the remainder. So we say a is congruent to b mod m. So don't confuse. यहाँ पे मैं b सिर्फ मैं इसलिए लिख रही हूँ because आपकी बुक में वो ऐसे लिख रहा है. Otherwise this b here is nothing but the remainder. So आपको पता है congruence में a is the number जिसको आप divide कर रहे हो और b is the remainder. So b here is nothing but r. So a is congruent to r mod m if and only if m divides a minus b. Beta, is it fine? So either you say that A gives the remainder B when divided by M, or you say that M divides A minus B, right? That is the definition of congruences. Beta, is it clear?
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
So if you see the very first definition, so let M be a non-zero integer. So non-zero इसको क्यों लिया है? Because हम इससे divide कर रहे हैं, and A and B are integers such that M divides A minus B. So M divides A minus B, right? So then we say that A is congruent to B mod M. So this mod is actually modulo. So modulo means division. So A is congruent to B modulo M, and we write this as A is congruent to B mod M. And if M does not divide A minus B, then we say that A is not congruent to B mod M. But is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
So now if
Yes, ma'am.
you see these examples, so you see 33 is congruent to 3 mod 5. Is it true? So 33 is congruent to 3 mod 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can check any way around, right? So because 5 divides 33 minus 3, because 33 minus 3 कितना होता है 30, and 5 divides 30. And also if you see what is the remainder of 33 when you divide by 5, 33 का remainder कितना होता है 5. Is it clear बच्चे? And similarly
Yes, ma'am.
45, so is 45 congruent to 3 mod 2?
No, ma'am.
So now, okay. Just before I move, now let us come back to your basics. If you divide any number with 2, what are the remainders?
1 and 0.
0 and 1, right? So only remainders are 0 and 1. Similarly, if you divide any number with 5, what are the remainders? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, if you divide any number with M, what are the remainders? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on up to M minus 1. आप किसी भी नंबर से आप किसी भी M को M से डिवाइड करोगे, रिमाइंडर्स क्या आएंगे? 0, 1, 2, 3, so on up to M minus 1. तो बेटा प्लीज जब भी रिमाइंडर लेना है, एक चीज देखनी है, रिमाइंडर हमेशा उस नंबर से छोटा होता है जिससे आप डिवाइड कर रहे हो. तो now if you see this 3 here is greater than 2. This 3 here is greater than 2. So it means ये जो मैंने आपको इक्वेशन दी है वो प्रॉपर फॉर्म में नहीं है. इसको हम पहले प्रॉपर फॉर्म में बनाएंगे. So if you see, what is the remainder of 3 with 2? What is the remainder of 3 with 2?
1.
1. And what is the remainder of 45 with 2?
Ma'am, 1.
1.
So now if you see, 3 is also leaving the same remainder 1, 45 is also leaving the same remainder 1. So it means, yes, there is some relationship between 3 and 45. So what are these relationships? Now we will see in the properties of the congruences. Right? Now we will see in the properties of the congruences. Right? So if you see the very first property says, so if you see these properties are asked in GNDU. So मेरा edition पुराना है book का. Right? So these properties can be asked. Right? So very first property says, that prove that a congruence is an equivalence relationship. So what do you mean by equivalence relationship? What do you mean by equivalence relationship? Okay, what do you mean by relation? What do you mean by relation? I mean, basics अभी थोड़ा सा और clear हो जाएंगे. वैसे ये सब कुछ तुम discrete maths में पढ़ोगे. Relation means what? याद है maths में?
मैम जब हम एक चीज को दूसरी चीज के साथ रिलेट करते हैं.
Very good. So I'll tell you. देखो, I don't know. I'm maybe okay. Let me quickly take you on a tour. हमें पता है कि हमारे पास क्या होता है. We have these numbers. So x, y, all these are set of natural numbers, right? So अगर मैं define कर दूं, if I say, I mean जरूरी नहीं है कि आप associate कर रहे हो. मैंने ऐसे ही लिखा 1, 2, 2, 5. Okay. अगर मैं आपको बोलूं ये कुछ आपको दिख रहा है क्या हो रहा है इस सेट में?
यस मैम। मैम इस नंबर के साथ उसका स्क्वायर है।
एक नंबर के साथ उसका स्क्वायर है. सो आई विल से, सो इफ लेट मी से दिस इज सेट S. सो से दिस इज सेट S. सो आई विल से any x and y belonging to S is related, yeah, as y is nothing but x square. So you see, ये तो एक हमें रिलेशन दिख रहा है. Otherwise you see, I can give you this also, 1 3 2 5 maybe 7 10. So now if you see, there are, you know, I mean कोई relation as such visible नहीं है, but yes, since मैंने उनको एक order pair में रख दिया है, so मैंने उनको एक order pair में रख दिया है, so that is the reason I say x is related to y. So relation means I have kept them in an ordered pair. Ordered pair means x comma y. Beta, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम।
So relation means association. So association कई बार हमें दिखती है, जैसे पहले एग्जांपल में आपको दिख गई कि हमने स्क्वायर किया है, और कई बार हमें एसोसिएशन नहीं दिखती है. और फिर इसी रिलेशन में कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज अगर सेटिस्फाई हो जाए, जैसे 1 1 हो जाए, ऑन 2 हो जाए, वेल डिफाइंड हो जाए, तो वो फंक्शन बन जाता है. सो वी स्टार्ट विद द रिलेशन, और रिलेशन में से कुछ उठ के दे कम टू द सुपीरियर क्लास एंड दे बिकम फंक्शंस. इज इट फाइन बच्चे? So relation, as Anjali rightly mentioned, relation is just an association. Now, उसी relation में we have equivalence relation. So again, you know, this is a special relation which satisfies certain properties, right? So first property is that this relation is reflexive. So when I'm saying reflexive, reflection का मतलब क्या होता है? Image. Reflection means image, right? Reflection means image. So basically every A should be related to A. So every element, so let me say a relation R is an equivalence relation if and only if it is, so what you have, reflexive, so which means A should be related to A. So this should be true for all A belonging to R. Means every element should be related to itself. But is it true? Is it fine? So this relation is known as reflexive. So say I give you one relation. I give you one relation. A is related to A. A is related to B if A divides B. A is related to B if A divides B. So first of all, can you tell me, is 5 related to 10?
Yes ma'am.
You see, A is related to B if A divides B. So yes, 5 divides 10. Yes, because 5 divides 10. So yes. Now you see, is 5 related to 5?
Yes ma'am.
Every number divides itself. So 5 divides itself. Yes. So you see, वो relation जो इसको satisfy कर रहा है, you know, every element is related to itself. So that relation is known as reflexive relation. So equivalence relation होने के लिए उसको सबसे पहले reflexive होना पड़ेगा. Second is it should be symmetric. It should be symmetric. It should be symmetric. That is, if A is related to B, then symmetry का मतलब क्या हो गया? B should be related to A. Beta, is it fine? Beta, is it fine?
Yes ma'am.
Yes.
Right? So can you just tell me from the previous example, is the relation reflexive? Is this relation? So you see, हमने ये देखा, this relation is reflexive. Is this relation symmetric?
Yes ma'am.
Why? Symmetric मतलब उल्टा. Is 10 related to 5? Is 10 related to 5?
No, ma'am.
No.
No ma'am.
Bro, 10 does not divide 5. 10 अपने से छोटे नंबर को तो divide कर ही नहीं सकता. So 10 does not divide 5. So you see, 5 तो 10 को divide कर रहा है, but 10 5 को divide नहीं कर रहा. So means this relation is not symmetric. Is it fine? अभी हम कॉन्ग्रेंसेस में नहीं आए, कॉन्ग्रेंसेस में मैं आपको कराऊंगी, अभी मैं इन जनरल आपको बता रही हूँ कि रिफ्लेक्सिव इक्विवेलेंस रिलेशन क्या होता है, राइट. एंड द लास्ट प्रॉपर्टी व्हिच वी विल सी इज ट्रांजिटिव. ट्रांजिटिव का अगर आपको डिक्शनरी मीनिंग पता हो तो इफ A इज रिलेटेड टू B and B is related to C, then what we should have? A should be related to C. A B को जानता है, B C को जानता है, then A should know C. Beta, is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
So now in this question only, so you see 5 is related to 10 and 10 is related to 20. So my question is 5 related to 20?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because 5 20 को divide करता है, 5 20 को divide करता है. So you see this relation is reflexive, this relation is transitive, but this relation is not symmetric. There are lot many examples जहाँ पे relation symmetric है but reflexive नहीं है, reflexive है but transitive नहीं है, transitive है but reflexive और symmetric नहीं है, right? So वो relation जिसमें ये तीनों properties hold करती हैं, reflexive, symmetric and transitive, that relationship is known as equivalence relationship. So the congruences is one such relationship. Congruences is an equivalence relationship. Is the statement of the property clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So for very first, so let us prove it is reflexive. Let us prove it is reflexive. So proof is given in your book very nicely. So let us prove it is reflexive. So reflexive में हमने क्या prove करना होता है? Every element is related to itself. So हमें क्या prove करना है? A should be congruent to A mod M. Beta, is it fine? So we have to prove every element is, हमारा relation क्या है? हम कौन सा relation की बात कर रहे हैं? Congruences. So हमें पता है congruences क्या होते हैं? A is congruent to B mod M. So we have to prove that every element is related to itself. So we have to prove that A is congruent to A mod M. Beta, is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it true? Is it true? What was the definition of congruence? What is A minus A? What is A minus A?
Zero.
And is 0 divisible by every number?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
0 से आप किसी भी नंबर को डिवाइड नहीं कर सकते, डिनोमिनेटर 0 नहीं हो सकता, बट अगर न्यूमिनेटर 0 है, if numerator is 0, this number is always 0. This number is always 0. So you see, m divides A minus A. तो यही तो डेफिनेशन थी कॉन्ग्रुएंस की. if m divides A minus B, then we say A is congruent to B mod M. So therefore A is congruent to A mod M. Beta, is it clear? बच्चे क्लियर है?
मैम एक जो
Yes,
दूसरी
ma'am.
डेफिनेशन थी कॉन्ग्रुएंस की, उसमें पहले हम m को a से डिवाइड करते थे और रिमाइंडर आता
हाँ,
था.
मैं ना इसके
मैम
बाद
अगर वैसे कर
मैं मेरे को एक बार प्रॉपर्टी, इसको थर्ड प्रॉपर्टी क्लियर करने दो, फिर आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा. शाइना, आई विल कम टू योर डाउट. वो ट्रांजिटिविटी से मैं आऊंगी उस पे जो आप कहना चाह रहे हो.
यस मैम.
ठीक है, आई विल कम टू दैट. नाउ व्हाट अबाउट सिमेट्रिक? व्हाट अबाउट सिमेट्रिक? तो सिमेट्रिक में हमें क्या शो करना है? वी हैव टू शो if A is congruent to B mod M, then B is congruent to A mod M. यही होती है सिमेट्री. सिमेट्री मींस उसका उल्टा ट्रू हो जाए. इज इट फाइन? बेटा क्लियर है? Now we will just apply definition.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will just apply definition. Now since A is congruent to B mod M, इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? M divides A minus B. M divides A minus B. So you see, अगर कोई नंबर मेरा 5 है, 5 divides 10, तो 5 also divides minus 10. कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है. 5 10 आप माइनस साइन लगा दो, माइनस साइन हटा दो, कोई फर्क तो नहीं पड़ता डिवीजन में. बेटा, is it fine?
No, ma'am.
Right? So M
Yes,
divides
ma'am.
A minus B. So it means यहाँ से मैं ये भी कह सकती हूँ M divides minus of A minus B. हमने एक तरह से -1 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया. This means what? M divides B minus A. So that's it. So by definition, so M divides B minus A. तो क्या आ गया? B is congruent to A mod M. So हम शुरू हुए थे A is congruent to B mod M. हमने क्या प्रूफ कर दिया? B is congruent to A mod M. So therefore we have got the symmetry. Is it clear, बच्चे? Is it clear, girls, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
What about the last part? What about the last part? So last part is transitivity. Transitive. So let A is congruent to B mod M and B is congruent to C mod M. So what we have to prove? So what we have to prove? A is congruent to C mod M. So proof is very, very easy. You see, this is 1, this is 2. So you see from 1, by definition, मैं always कहती हूँ number 3 में definition लगाओ, आपको proof अपने आप दिखेगा. From 1, what you get? A is congruent to B mod M, means M divides A minus B. From 2, what you get? M divides B minus C. अब M इन इसको भी डिवाइड कर रहा है, M इसको भी डिवाइड कर रहा है, तो ऑब्वियसली M इनके सम को भी डिवाइड करेगा. अगर कोई भी नंबर दो नंबर्स को डिवाइड करता है तो वो उनके सम को भी डिवाइड करेगा. So it means what? M divides A minus B plus B minus C. So what will happen? B and B will cancel. So what do you get? M divides A minus C. So from here, what do you get? A is congruent to C mod. Girls, is it clear? Better clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So now, so it means transitivity holds, so all the three property holds, so my given relationship is equivalence relationship. So congruence is an equivalence relationship. Now I come to your question, Shaina. अगर आपको याद हो, मैंने आपको अभी स्टार्टिंग में एक एग्जांपल दिया था, 45 is congruent to 3 mod 2. ठीक है, अब ये देखो, ये दोनों नंबर्स आप 2 से डिवाइड कर रहे हो, आप 2 से डिवाइड कर रहे हो, और अगर आप ये देखो दोनों नंबर्स ही 2 से बड़े हैं, दोनों नंबर्स ही 2 से बड़े हैं, तो अब हम क्या करेंगे, एक एक करके इनका रिमाइंडर देखते हैं. लेट अस टेक व्हाट इज द रिमाइंडर ऑफ 45 विद 2?
1.
1. So 45 is congruent to 1 mod 2. What is the remainder of 3 with 2?
1.
1. So now you see 3 is congruent to 1 mod 2. अभी हमने देखा कि congruence is a symmetric relationship. तो चाहे आप A congruent to B लिखो, चाहे आप B congruent to A लिखो, you will get the same result. So can I write 1 is congruent to 3 mod? 1 is congruent to 3 mod 2. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
So now if you see from this relationship, from this star equation and this star equation, if you see from these two stars relationship, first relationship कह रहा है 45 is congruent to 1 mod 2. Second relationship कह रहा है 1 is congruent to 3 mod 2. So अब ये देखो transitivity नहीं बन रही, transitivity नहीं बन रही.
Yes, ma'am.
So from here, what we can say is time is getting over, so we will continue from here tomorrow. So what we get from here is 45 is congruent to 3 mod 2. So 45 is congruent to 3 mod 2. So after this, I just have to say